Okay, everybody, it is time for a wide receiver in every single round. And I got to tell you, I specialize more in offense than defense, but we're going to still be rolling with these. But a wide receiver at every round. And the running back class, I felt like was loaded in the third and fourth round. This wide receiver class, I feel this weird draw kind of to the fifth and sixth round in a weird way. Fifth and fourth round, sorry, not fifth and sixth, but fifth and fourth round, and of course the first round. But this kind of is a lackluster crew. I'm going to eat my words on that, I'm sure, going forward. But this isn't like the one 2 years ago or even a year ago where I just felt like there was all these can't miss wide receiver prospects. So without further ado, let's start in the seventh round, and I got a guy for us that I think is perfect for a seventh round. Take a flyer on him, and his name is Andrea Iosivas. He was from Princeton. He wowed scouts at the Senior Bowl. He had game-breaking speed. He's a 4.4 40 type of guy. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. He's just not as refined. So he's one of those guys that is size, skill, athleticism. Like, he could be a late riser. He might not even be around in the seventh round. Right now, I have a sixth or seventh round grade on him, but I'm not sure exactly what this guy could be, but he might be someone worth taking a flyer on in late rounds. I seem to think that our wide receiver room is filled up enough where I don't necessarily want to go sixth or seventh round on a wide receiver, but we'll see. Sixth round, I would go CJ Johnson. Again, if you're taking a wide receiver in the sixth or seventh round, Lions don't even have a seventh round pick right now, just in case you were wondering. But CJ Johnson is a guy in the sixth round that you could get. He's 6'1, 224 pounds. And he's a running back, and he plays like a running back. He had over 1,000 yards receiving. His yak yards are absolutely fantastic. His cons would be he's lethargic out of the cut. Yeah, at 224. He has to use his size to separate, and he has no gear to get away. He's not going to be a burner, but he could turn into a good possession type receiver. He really could. Okay, so when we now move into the fifth round is when I start getting a little more excited about people. And Trey Palmer is one of those guys. He's 6'1, 190 pounds. He's out of Nebraska. He had 1,000 yards receiving this year. That's pretty good. About 67% of passes thrown his way were completed. I'm doing quick math here as I'm looking at stuff, but he is a flat out burner. Real deal speed. He had the fastest GPS time at the wide receivers at the Senior Bowl. And you know how Holmes and Campbell love their GPS speed. It was 21 miles per hour. He has a big wingspan of 77 inches, and he has 2 return touchdowns in his career, 1 kick, 1 punt, and can easily fill that role in the NFL. I would love that. This is the guy that eventually replaces Khalif Raymond and can help usher him out after this year. I think Khalif Raymond still has another good year in him. But after that, this could be your guy. On top of the GPS speed, he actually just runs well. He ran a 4.33. That might have been the fastest time of anybody in the combine. I'm not positive, but it might have been. All right, now let's go to the fourth round, and this is where you're going to find another one of my just favorite guys, and it's Jonathan Mingo. I think each class kind of builds its own character. And what I like in wide receivers when I'm looking at them, either want tall, big guys or absolute burners slash just great route runners. I like to look at 3 things. Size, if they have that, we can teach the other things. Route running, if you are a technician with your route running, you will get open in the NFL. And just straight speed. I think that's helpful as well. And this guy, Jonathan Mingo, has kind of that size and speed combo at 6'2", 220. He runs like a running back after he gets it. The question is, what will he do to get off? Off defenders. So here's the thing. This was the first year he really put anything on tape. He was a late bloomer. And so I love that moving forward. I absolutely Love that going forward. Another player that I like in the fourth round is Jaden Reed out of Michigan State. And see, this just proves that I can be non-biased because I'm a Michigan fan. Don't turn this off, Michigan State fans. I'm going to hype your guys up, your guy up here for a bit. I don't know why it took so long for people to come around on him. I understand he had a rough year last year. That wasn't on him, right? Like his junior year was phenomenal and he came back because he saw good things happening there and it turned out to be a bad decision for him. He is a good player. He would be a good and is a good return man. He's a 4.45 40 guy. He can separate. He was phenomenal at the Senior Bowl. There you can have two fourth round players if you want. Now let's go to the third round. And you can't get out of the third round without talking about a Tennessee Volunteer, and that is Jalen Hyatt. The guy is good. He had a great year this year, and what he was great at is the deep ball. Here's the thing. He's got 4.4 speed. That's good. Like he is a burner. He is very, very fast. But that's what he did in a gadgety offense. And in that gadgety offense, he got 1,200 yards, almost 1,300. His yards per catch were insane. All right. That was almost insane. At 18.9, I think he could be a great player. Can you imagine in the third round, if he's still there, a world in which you have Amon-Ra St. Brown and then you have Jamison Williams and Jalen Hyatt on the field at the same time? The vertical threat on that is out of control. It is absolutely out of control. I don't dislike Rashee Rice out of, I think it was SMU or something as well. I think he could be a good player at 6'2", 203 as well. But now let's move to the first round. And I think with the 18th pick, we have to consider a couple of these guys. There's Jordan Addison. I'm not super high on him. I thought there were a little too many concentration drops. And then his play speed is fast. His recorded speed is not. I could be completely wrong about Jordan Addison. He either ends up like Jerry Jeudy and not producing well the first couple years, or he becomes Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, right? Like he ends up being one of those two guys because Ocho Cinco, they always talked about how he wasn't fast, ran a 4.5 something 40. And he's like, do I look like I run a 4.5 40 on the field? And I think Jordan Addison could be one of those guys. If you want a guy who's a true burner, just go for Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is good. We're going to talk about him in a second. But my guy, and again, I'm proving that I can be non-biased in this, Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Everybody's like, nah, the Lions don't need Jaxon Smith-Njigba. We already have Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot. Okay. Just because Jaxon Smith-Njigba played all of his snaps or 80% of his snaps out of the slot doesn't mean that he can only play out of the slot. Okay, he was running next to Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, who both became very good rookie wide receivers his junior year. Last year, he kept playing in the slot because he did it so well, and Marvin Harrison Jr. was playing on the outside. And he only got 60 snaps this year before an injury. Jaxon Smith-Njigba outgained both Olave and Wilson as a sophomore. He was so good that with him and Harrison and Olave and Wilson, that Jamison Williams transferred to Alabama because he wasn't going to get enough run because of how good this guy is. He can play on the outside. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He does whatever is needed. There is no weakness. In fact, when you look at different things on a big board, PFF, Brugler does it too, where he can improve. It's the only player I've ever seen this for. I'm interested to see if Saransi is here. I've been through all the quarterbacks, all the running backs, all the wide receivers. The where can he improve is just a bunch of question marks. That is my number one wide receiver on the board right now. I put him ahead of Quentin Johnson. I do. And I don't know if he'll be available at 18 for the Lions, but if he's there, draft him. Draft him. Your offense will be elite it already is exceptional. It will be out of control. Can you imagine St. Brown, Smith and Jigba, and JMO on the field together? My goodness, with that offensive line and the accuracy of Goff, that could be scary, scary good. All right, let me know how you feel about this. What are you guys thinking? What wide receiver do you like? Is there a sneaky one that I didn't mention that you think would be a really good wide receiver? So on and so forth. Let us know. Then watch the draft with us on April 27th. It'll be great. We'll be talking through the draft. It'll be a good time giving our opinions and hearing yours as well. All right, see you on the next one.